started kind of first studying this, it really changed the way that I personally looked at food and diet. You know, I did this course on biochemical individuality as part of my master's degree. And for years, really decades, I had been on a very strict vegetarian type diet. For 8 of those years, I was actually vegan, and really felt that I was eating kind of like the best, highest quality, pretty much all organic food out there. And that like over time, you know, my health was really declining. My energy levels were really reducing. So when I saw this, you know, I had to kind of consider as an option if I was going to be counseling people on diet, that maybe I had to take some of my own advice and see if I would benefit from like shifting my diet in the other direction. You know, I took the test and yes, I came up as a parasympathetic dominant, which is a protein type, and for most of my life I had been eating, you know...
It's pretty,
yeah.
It's pretty hard for you.
Yeah, pretty hard for me. I kind of always had a sense that I needed like a really high-fat diet, like always going for the nuts and avocados and lots of good oils, which I think, you know, we all need quite a bit of these. Some people need more than others, and sometimes I worry that it's like, it's really a lot of fat, is it too much? And like, I just always had that intuition that like I needed it, and that was, you know, part of helping to slow the digestion down for me, which is this very quick digestion that protein types really need. So yeah, it was a long transition, but I kind of started to go the other way. It's really a last resort, having like worked with, you know, kind of doctors and standard medical doctors, and then every kind of, you know, naturopath, homeopath, whoever else was out there to try to help me. And I could never really get past this point until I started shifting my diet in the other way. And actually now I've seen that my metabolism has really, it's balanced. So for a couple of years I was a very strong protein type. I'm a bit more in the middle now, I think, just from following what my body needed to do.
I thought you'd be taking a lot of nuts. That's a lot of protein.
It is, but really for a protein type, it's not enough. And again, it varies on the person. For me, it wasn't enough. And I think...
What percentage of protein are you taking?
Now, percentage is tricky. I eat fish now, and I've gone back to eggs and like some dairy. And this is really, you know, there's 2 parts to this. One is kind of understanding your metabolism. So yes, I know I need more protein. And then one is actually identifying the proportions that your body needs. And that, again, is different for every person. So when I started this, it really, I was so sensitive to carbohydrates that I really couldn't eat like an apple without getting a headache. Now I'm okay. Now I can have a little bit of fruit, but at that time, carbohydrates, like almost nothing. Like, you know, brown rice, it needed to be small amounts, whereas, you know, most of my life I've been eating like bowls of, you know, grains and vegetables, and really always felt like I was constantly hungry. And this is a sign that you're, you know, not feeding your body what it needs. It's like if you have food cravings is one, but if you're kind of eating enough and you've eaten a lot and you feel like your body still wants to keep eating, it's a sign that, yeah, you might have had enough food, but actually you haven't given your body what it needs to support your metabolism. And that's really what I experienced. I kind of ate constantly, like all day, every day, really, you know, blood sugar, I could feel it. If I skipped a meal, I was like headaches and like really anxious. And it's a completely different
situation. You came to a
situation.
point where you couldn't eat any more carbohydrates because you had too much before?
My metabolism was just really imbalanced, and at that time I was a very strong parasympathetic dominant, which is a protein type. So I could eat a little bit of carbohydrates, but not much. I really didn't feel well. I really needed the protein. So, I mean, now it's quite a lot. It's hard for me to really say. Protein for me is maybe around 60. Protein and fat tends to like be the focus of my meals. Like
you were taking things like flax oils, things like
yeah.
that. You were doing that.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, so for me, like shifting the other way was really, it was a last resort. I mean, you know, fish is, it's so healthy. It's brain food. I think it's great. For me, it was a hard change to make, having been 20 plus years as like
vegan.
Yeah, as a vegan, and really in some ways identifying with that type of diet. But I had hit a point, and you know, sometimes you want to get healthy, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to do that. And that's where I started thinking, okay, same thing. I might have clients that, you know, don't want to hear something like this from me, or it could be something totally different. But I can't expect other people to take my advice if I myself can't take my own advice. So it was really like a few years of transition, and now I feel really good. And like, you know, if a day or two goes by and I haven't had like that higher protein, I start to feel it quite quickly. So it's good to, you know, become aware of, you know, our own needs and really understand. And I know you just like the start of the topic, which is that all of us are different and unique, and that, you know, we kind of get it in our head that there's one perfect diet that we should all be on, but actually, you know, our needs are so varying that the perfect diet is completely different from person to person.